So what we got here is a Carter talon, very similar to the Japanese buggies. Supposedly this is the only one that's manufactured that's made in America. Originally came with a GY6 150 on it, which is over here. Motor ran fine, really, no real problems with it. Did have to replace the carb when I bought it and stuff like that, but it was just because people who had it before me had no idea between the difference between a spark plug and a fucking screwdriver. But once I did that, it ran fine, but it just ran like a whooped pup, really. Had no power. You had to stand on it just to get the fucking thing to move, really. So what I did is I purchased a 95 EX250 Ninja and threw that bad boy in there. Most of the people that do these motor swaps, seems like it takes them couple months. It's kind of drawn out process. All the work that you're going to see right now is actually done in 2 days, on a Friday and a Saturday. Didn't work on Sunday, and making this video today, which is a Wednesday. Ain't really touched it, only going to really work on it on the weekends. But I honestly plan to be 90% done this weekend. Essentially, back here, the cradle, it actually comes to a T if you guys are familiar with these cradles, and it branches off to each one of these pipes. The way they work though is this cradle actually articulates up forward, so if that pipe was still here, it would actually come in contact with the carburetors. So I took that out, welded in some square stock for strength, and that way now when it articulates, it's not running into the carburetors. The back mount is one solid piece of angle iron. It goes from one end of the swing arm all the way over to the other swing arm, and it's welded in. Did cut out 2 notches, one right here and one over right here, just so I can bend it, and then welded them back together. Behind the angle iron is 2 tabs utilizing the back mount. As far as the battery is concerned, it's just a lawnmower battery from Roll King. Find it senseless to buy actual motorcycle battery when they're like $50 when you can pick one of these up for $19.99. Took some flat stock and cut these tubes here and bent it around the battery and up here on the front as well, supporting the battery. Still needs a strap because it kind of bounces around, but no biggie. The electronics for the Ninja are in here. This is the stock CDI cover for the GY6 motor. Welded a piece of plate underneath here, set everything in there as far as the computer and regulator and the rest of the wiring harness. Kind of double-sided tape and siliconed them, that way no moisture gets to them, also so they're not bouncing around in there like a bunch of marbles. And then put the cover back on and zip tied it. Might do something a little bit better, but I got lazy, got tired. The top mount, or the front mount, actually just bolts right up to here, and then the square tubing goes down to the actual swing arm and is welded solid. So the whole motor will articulate with the swing arm. This tube here, or used to be a tube here, went from here to there. Actually had to remove it because of the fact that the motor swing arm would actually come in contact with the motor's valve cover would actually come in contact with that bar. So the way I measured that is I took the, I guess you would call it the luggage rack, and the cradle, ratchet strapped from here down to here, and ratchet strapped the shit out of it to see the highest level of, or the lowest point the swing arm would go, to find out exactly where it would come in contact with. And then use a tape measure, cut it out, and I think structurally it should be fine. If not, if it starts bending shit or warping shit, we'll address that later. Just weld in some more tubing, some triangle gussets. Should be fine. Gas tank was originally went right here with the two mounting tabs right there and there. If we put the gas tank there again, or replace it there, it would actually sit right on top of the head, and obviously we're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is actually just extend it up probably about 6 inches, so it's just an inch or so below this bar, keeping it away from the head, but also keeping it somewhat where it used to be. The only real thing that's left to do is radiator placement. Kind of debating on whether or not to put that up front or actually put it back here. Just run some heater core hose up front. But a good buddy of mine brought up a good idea, or a bad point about doing it up there or running it up there. During the summer when you're riding, you're going to be blowing hot air all over your feet and up your legs, and didn't really like that idea, so I'm still debating on that. As far as the axle goes, really didn't have to do much to it. I did have to cut the welds that hold this spindle on the axle. It originally was a little bit, it was butted right up to here. So I cut the welds off and beat the shit out of it so it would slide over here. Re-welded that for strength, just didn't want it to tear out. And then this will go right here, and then the sprocket will bolt right up to it. It sits right on top of it. This is the original sprocket, but I will not be using it. It's a lot fatter than the sprocket on the bike or on the Ninja motor. The research that I've done, the Ninja motor actually uses a 520 chain, so it's a smaller sprocket. So I actually ordered a new sprocket and chain from Amazon. Should be arriving tomorrow. Believe it or not, a Suzuki LT 160 sprocket will actually bolt right up to this flange perfectly, and that's from the research that I've done. And then obviously the chain, is just a regular chain. Actually, just about everything that I've purchased for this bike, or for this, I shouldn't say bike, this buggy and motor swap, actually came from Amazon, believe it or not. It's became my best friend. I'm an Amazon Prime member. I actually love it to death. Picked the 1-day shipping, and then the shit just gets here. The brake light, that's one cool thing. Actually purchased this from Roll King. It actually just is in there just from pressure. It is in there. It's been in there since the day since the day I rewired the buggy. Believe it, you would think that it would fall out or bounce out or whatever, but honestly, I truly believe that you would have to break the damn light to get it to come out, because it is just perfect in there. It's an active tail light too, so it when you press on the brake, it actually lights up brighter than the running lights. When I bought the buggy, the wiring harness was fucking just mangled. The seats have been removed so I can just have easy access for running the wires. Dashboard was all mangled and whatnot, so I just eliminated it. Put some toggle switches on it. This toggle supplies 12 volts to the ignition for the coils and whatnot. This one over here is just a starter push button. This light over here this switch over here is actually for the lights. Do still have the stock lights, but they're a little faded and not as bright as I wanted them to be. So I picked up some Harbor Freight specials, which would be those lights up there. I think they're like $20, and hook those up so they can see a little bit better at night. Everything else is pretty much stock on this thing. One of the other big things that need to be done is the shifter and the clutch cable. Plan on using a bicycle brake lever, or clutch lever, whatever you want to call it, and actually putting it on the shifter, so whenever you grab the shifter, you actually grab that and press in the clutch, shift your gear, and take off. Trying to think of things I ran into that could help people as far as doing swapping one of these. Everything's been pretty straightforward. I always try to take a simple approach to things and just do what makes the most sense. Still have a couple of more things to do. I mean, the wiring is almost completely done. Oh, that's one thing that I can go over with you guys. So originally, before I started this plan, I thought, oh, no big deal. I'll just look up some wiring diagrams for the Ninja and call it a day. Well, actually, it's a little harder than what you'd think. Um, Looked up all kinds of diagrams, found all kinds of diagrams, but they were never the correct year for the bike. They were always a little bit different. The color codes were never exactly the same. So I contacted this company called Cyclepedia, cycle as in like bicycle. And they have every repair manual for any bike that you own, or that was made, domestic-wise anyways. But for $10 for a year subscription, you get access to all the repair manual on the bike and any wiring diagram. And I actually got in touch with one of the guys there who actually just sent me a strictly spark or ignition diagram. So all it does is supply spark to the motor. And then also one just for charging. All it does is hook up the regulator to the, or hook up the alternator to the regulator, supplying 12 volts to the motor once the motor's running. Or the motor's supplying 12 volts to the battery once the motor's running. And then also here's the main diagram. I looked at it a little bit just to pull certain things like oil pressure sending unit, water temperature one, everything else I pretty much fucking gutted. It's over in this box, along with the radiator and some other knick-knack shit that needs to go on there. The radiator, I'm thinking about either up front or in the back here off this bar somewhere, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. The next big thing is the exhaust. I plan on actually bending some PVC pipe to my specifications or to where I want it to go, and then I'm actually going to take it up to my local exhaust shop and have him actually just bend some tubing for me. That way, all I got to do is burn it in. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure there's some people on here that's going to have some questions, so feel free to ask some questions in the comments, and I'll try to answer them the best I can, or to what from what I ran into and what issues I had. Other than that, I don't think that it's that big of a task, I guess, or big of a project. Honestly, if I had all the parts sitting in front of me, I couldn't see why it wouldn't take no more than maybe 4 or 5 days to do the complete swap. Other than that, I'd say that's about it. I'll also post some more videos once the motor is actually turning the drive shaft and the shifters actually function, and then also I'll make some videos of driving it, ripping some donuts and so on and so forth. Looks like the dog got pretty hot. He's pretty wore out. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and try to answer them the best I can.